Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So today we are going to continue the second subtopic in chapter 10. The subtopic 10.2 is about the circulatory system of human. There are three main components in the circulatory system of human, consists of the blood, heart and blood vessels. The blood is a type of connective tissue made up of the blood plasma, blood cell and also platelets. The blood will act as a medium of transportation, functioning as a muscular pump circulate the blood through the whole body. Meanwhile, the blood vessel consists of the arteries, capillaries and veins connected to the heart and then transport the blood through all the body tissues. In details, we are going to discuss about the structure of human heart. The human heart is located between the lungs in the thorax cavity, and our human heart consists of the four chambers, namely left atrium, left ventricle and right ventricle. The left chamber is separated from the right chamber by a muscular wall called septum. The atrium will receive the blood and return to the heart. Meanwhile, the ventricle will pump blood out of the heart. The ventricle has thicker wall and contracts stronger than the atrium. This is because the left ventricle has to generate greater pressure to pump the blood out of the aorta to the whole body, while the left ventricle has only to pump the blood to the lungs. This is the structure of the human heart. So let me label together. This is the superior vena cava. This is the right pulmonary vein, right semilunar valve, right atrium, tricuspid valve, right ventricle, posterior vena cava. This is the aorta, pulmonary artery, left pulmonary vein, left atrium, aortic valve, bicuspid valve, left ventricle, and septum. This is the septum. This is the coronary artery. The red one is the coronary artery. The function is to transport oxygenated blood for the heart tissue, while the blue one is the coronary vein. Coronary vein is to transport deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood is pumped to the lungs via pulmonary arteries. The red one is the aorta. The oxygenated blood is pumped to the rest of the body. This is the vena cava. The oxygenated blood from the rest of the body will enter the right atrium via the vena cava. Last but not least is the pulmonary vein. The oxygenated blood from the lungs enter the left atrium via the pulmonary vein. Now let me discuss each function of the structure of human heart. Vena cava is the main vein that transports deoxygenated blood back to the heart. Meanwhile, the aorta is the main blood artery that transports oxygenated blood to the whole body. Next, the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery will transport deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Next one is the pulmonary vein. The pulmonary vein transports oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Semilunar valve is a valve that based on the pulmonary artery and the base of the aorta. The function is to ensure the blood which flows out of the heart does not flow back into the ventricle when the ventricle relaxes. The tricuspid valve located between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The function to ensure that the blood will flow into the right ventricle does not flow back into the right atrium. This valve consists of three leaflets. This is the bicuspid valve. It is located between the left atrium and the left ventricle. The function to ensure the blood which flows into the left ventricle does not flow back into the left atrium. This valve consists of two leaflets. This is the structure of septum. The septum will separate the left part of the heart from the right part of the heart, and to ensure that the oxygenated blood does not mix with the deoxygenated blood. Now we are going to discuss about the compositions of human blood. The human blood consists of 55% of plasma and 45% cell component. The plasma is the medium of transportation in the body. The components of the blood cell consist of the erythrocyte, platelet, and leukocyte. This is the summary of the human blood composition. Consists of the cellular component and plasma membrane. Under the cellular component, it is divided into three types: erythrocyte, leukocyte, and platelet. Leukocyte divided into two types: granulocyte and agranulocyte. Later, we are going to discuss more detail about the human blood. This table shows the blood plasma component and the main functions of each component. The water, the main function is act as a medium. Water acts as a medium for transportation and a solvent for respiratory gas, ion, and digestive product. Also, the excretory substance. The blood plasma consists of 90% of water. Plasma protein consists of fibrinogen. They in a role of blood clotting. Albumin controls the blood osmotic pressure. Globulin is a type of antibody that is involved in the body defense. Next is the solutes, consists of the nutrients such as glucose, excretory substance such as urea, and respiratory gas. The nutrients are important for giving the energy, growth, and maintains the health. And then the excretory substance or toxic substance need to be disposed or expelled from our body. The oxygen is required in the respiration of cells. Last but not least is hormones and enzymes. The hormones will control the physiological activities in the body. Meanwhile, the enzymes are involved in a metabolic processes of cells. This is the structure of the erythrocyte or red blood cells. The characteristic has a elastic plasma membrane. The shape is biconcave disc shape, which enables the large total surface area of a volume for efficient gases exchange. It does not have a nucleus during the matured stage, so that it can load more hemoglobin into it. The erythrocyte is produced in the bone marrow, such as sternum and ribs. The lifespan of the erythrocyte is up to 120 days. It is destroyed in the liver or limb throughout the phagocytosis process. The erythrocyte has hemoglobin, which is the red pigment and gives the blood its red color. Hemoglobin contains a heme group. The heme group consists of iron atom, which is binding site for oxygen. When the hemoglobin combines with oxygen, it will form the oxyhemoglobin in high oxygen partial pressure condition. Oxyhemoglobin will release oxygen in tissue or cell when the partial pressure of oxygen is low. What is hemoglobin? It is a red pigment, a protein which contains iron. The functions of hemoglobin is to transport oxygen. When the hemoglobin combines with the oxygen, it forms the oxyhemoglobin. Combined with the carbon dioxide, it will form carbon monohemoglobin. Meanwhile, combined with the carbon monoxide, it will form the carboxyhemoglobin. Platelets are produced from the fragments or the scraps of cell cytoplasm that originate from the bone marrow. The lifespan of platelet is about less than 1 week. It is involved in the blood clotting process. Now let me discuss about the structure of white blood cell. Leukocyte divided into two types, granulocyte and agranulocyte. Granulocyte will divide into three, which is consists of the neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophil. Meanwhile, a granulocyte consists of the lymphocyte and monocyte. The shape is irregular and it is not fixed. Contains nucleus, does not contain hemoglobin, produced in bone marrow, and the lifespan is less than 5 days. Leukocyte can diffuse out of the capillary. Leukocyte can diffuse out of the capillary pore and fight pathogen in the tissue fluid. Let me discuss more details about the structure of granulocyte. It consists of the eosinophil. Its nucleus is made up of 2 loops and release enzymes that fight inflammation and allergy reaction. Basophil. The number of basophil is the lowest in the blood. It contains heparin that prevents blood clotting. The nucleus of neutrophil is made up of 2 or 5 loops. Ingest the bacterial cell and dead cell or tissue from the wound by phagocytosis. This is the structure of a granulocyte. Consists of the lymphocyte. It contains a large nucleus with a very little cytoplasm. The lymphocyte will produce antibodies to destroy bacteria and viruses that enter the body. It also can produce antitoxin against toxins that are produced by the bacteria or viruses. Last one is the monocyte. It is the biggest leukocyte. The shape is spherical nucleus and also the function to ingest bacteria and dead cell or tissue by phagocytosis. The diagram shows the bone marrow where the red blood cell, white blood cell and platelets are formed. In details, you are going to discuss about the human blood vessels. The artery are blood vessels that transport blood out of the heart. The functions of artery is to quickly transport blood at high pressure to the tissue. The blood in the artery is under high pressure because the pumping actions of the heart. The aorta, the main artery that leaves the heart, and the artery will expand when blood is received from the heart. The artery wall is elastic to stop it from breaking due to high pressure. The branch of the artery becomes small vessels known as arterioles when they reach to the body tissue. The arteriole continue to branch out and end at the capillaries. The group of capillaries is called capillary network. This is the structure of blood capillary. Capillaries are blood vessels with thin wall as thick as one cell only. The blood capillaries allow the exchange of gases to occur between blood and cells through diffusion. Nutrient, excess substance, and hormone diffuse through blood capillaries. This is the structure of vein. Capillaries rejoin to form larger blood vessels called venules. The venules combine to form veins that transport blood back to the heart. Vena cava is the main vein that carries deoxygenated blood back to the heart. The table shows the differences between arteries, capillaries, and veins. The artery consists of wall which is thick, muscular, and elastic. The wall in the capillaries as thick as one cell only, not muscular and not elastic. The wall of vein is thin, less muscular, and less elastic. The size of artery is small. Meanwhile, for capillary is very tiny compared to the vein is large. In artery, there is no valve except for semilunar valve that base of the aorta and the base of the pulmonary artery. Capillaries do not have valve and vein contain valve to maintain one-way flow of blood. The pressure inside the artery is high, meanwhile the capillary is low and vein very low. The directions of blood flow, the artery will flow from the heart to the entire body. For the capillary, the directions of blood flow is from the artery to the vein and the vein from the whole body to the heart.